Greetings, my name is Tim Johnson. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. This is the second in some videos that I'm doing where I'm sharing some of the things that I believe have been essential, that I've learned over the past 20 months that have really helped on my road to healing my addictions. My diet when I was in addiction, obviously, as probably a lot of yours, was terrible. I used to jam myself with just, when I did eat, when I got round to eating, which was quite rare, it was always rubbish and junk food and something that I could grab and was very quick and easy. And consequently, you know, I was extremely overweight and very, very unhealthy. Now, I realised when you're first in withdrawal and you're in the early stages of recovery, I think although it's crucial that you're getting plenty of really good nutrition down you, there are going to be times when you're going to crave a chocolate bar or some biscuits or some crisps. Now, I certainly treated myself to those things in withdrawal and early recovery while trying to balance it with some really good, healthy, nutrient-rich food as well. And before I got sober, I did a lot of research. I'm very much a sort of science-based person, as I said in the last video. So what I did was, not only did I look at the science of nutrition and did quite a lot of work on it and research on it, I also looked at a lot of people and a lot of different diets and how various things had worked for them, and I took bits out of them, of those things that I thought would work for me. So about sort of 6 to 8 weeks in, I suppose, I really started to look at my diet because I was becoming more confident in my recovery, and it was time really for me to sort of get a grip and really look at my nutrition, because I knew that the damage I'd done to my body and my brain in particular wouldn't heal unless I was getting the correct nutrients and the correct diet inside of me. And it was extremely important because I didn't want to slip backwards. I just wanted to keep moving forwards, and I was trying to do everything else right and have a look back at the other videos, you know, about the other stuff I was doing in early recovery. But nutrition, about 6 or 8 weeks in, became extremely important. So I decided there was a couple of things immediately that I was going to cut out of my diet completely, and that was everything that was man-made. So everything that was processed and in a packet and didn't grow and came naturally from the earth or whatever, I cut from my diet. And also at the same time, I cut refined sugar and anything made with refined sugar and artificial sweeteners from my diet as well. Now that was, I'm not saying that was easy, and some of you are going to take things from this video maybe that'll be useful for you. Hopefully some, you know, 1 or 2 things. Some of you may take more, I don't know, but I just hope that some of these things are useful for you. It is really hard because I've got a really sweet tooth, and when you're an addict, as you probably know yourselves, you're because of, certainly if you're an alcoholic and you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you start to crave sugar, and I certainly did. I was no different to anyone else, and when I cut the refined food, processed food and the refined sugar and the sweeteners out of my diet, for 4 to 6 days, I was, you know, it was a bit like going back into withdrawal. Not as severe, obviously, but I had withdrawal symptoms. I was craving sugar and sweet food, and basically I got through that I sort of built in new habits. I made sure I was drinking plenty of water to start with. Whenever I got a craving for, and it sounds strange this, but whenever I got a craving for sugar, I would drink half a pint of water, because I was determined to, and this habit is still with me today. 6 to 8 pints of water a day I get down my system somehow, and that sounds like a lot, but it isn't over a whole day, 24 hours if you like. And that's one thing definitely you need to do. Water, hydration is so important for every facet of your healing, really. And also I built into my diet a freshly squeezed lemon every single morning, about an hour before I ate anything, to get my body alkaline and in warm water, and also that really helps your digestion. So that's an hour before I ate anything. So every time I crave sugar and processed food, I'd drink half a pint of water, and the craving would soon go away. And I started to then look at other things, and at that time, I suppose, there are a myriad of diets out there, as you probably know, and some are faddy and some are fashionable, and but I suppose at that time, the one I was on, because I always knew that plant-based whole food was really the way to go, but I was still eating meat, and wherever possible, I was trying to eat sort of grass-fed and organic meat. And I suppose 80% of my diet was plant-based whole food, grains and seeds, nuts, and 20 to maybe 20-30% was meat, but good quality meat. So I suppose that was a paleo diet, which is the current sort of craze amongst a lot of people. But the more research I did, the more I looked into it, and the more I was looking into healing my brain and my body, the more proof, scientific proof came out that going full sort of vegan, if you like, plant-based whole food, and organic wherever you can get it, was definitely the way forward. And slowly but surely, and I'm a butcher's grandson. Butcheries have been in my. I love my meat, and I've eaten meat all my life. But the more I looked at it, and the more I was moving forward, it's sort of 57 years old. It was time to make a change and see how it worked for me to try and heal my brain and try and heal my body as efficiently as possible. So I started to eat plenty and plenty of greens, leafy greens in particular, kale, spinach, broccoli, about 20% fruit. I was eating out of the plant-based whole food, I suppose 20 or 30% of what I was eating was raw, because it's really good for you to eat that raw if you can. And I was making really tasty vegan recipes using coconut oil, almond oil, loads of olive oil, because there's plenty of new proof now that as much olive oil as you can get down you is brilliant for your heart and circulation and your healing and your mental capacities and everything else. So, and I was eating plenty of seeds and nuts, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, all that sort of stuff, different types of seeds, and grains, stuff like chia and quinoa and brown rice, everything that's whole grain and whole food. Plenty of tasty recipes. And the more I was doing this and keeping to this diet, the more energy I was getting, the more weight was dropping off me. But one thing I really noticed, because my brain, after all 20, 25 years of opiate and alcohol abuse, or more probably, my brain was taking it needed a lot of healing. But what was happening was my mood was elevating, my sleep was getting better as I was more and more into this diet. And about 6 or 8 months in, and I'm still on this diet now, I was feeling fantastic. And that's why I've stuck to it. And I'm not saying you all should go as extreme as that, but I'm just take some things out of it. Because as I moved on, I then cut out gluten, because your body makes allergens to these things. Gluten, and then dairy, animal product dairy, because of lactose intolerance, I cut that out. And peanuts I cut out. And these things, that's all I've cut out. But it sounds a lot, but I didn't miss that dairy at all, and eggs and stuff like that. And you're getting so much good quality protein, and all this is a fallacy about meat protein, because plant protein's just as good, if not better, for you. I mean, quinoa has like the 12 essential amino acids in it that no other food has. I mean, they're superfoods, these things. And I was eating superfoods like acacia, blueberries, all that sort of stuff, and I still am. And, I just feel fantastic on this diet. And I don't eat, plenty of hydration, like I say, and I don't eat after 6 o'clock at night, because and I have sort of it's an intermittent fast from 6 o'clock at night. Probably 8 or 9 o'clock the next morning is the next time I eat, and I find that really does my digestion good. Weight's dropped off me, my energy levels are amazing, my exercise, I can exercise for much longer, I'm fitter than I was in my 20s. So I recommend it to anybody, if I can do that at my age. And I've dropped about 30 kilos as well in weight naturally, without even trying really, although I've been exercising. But it's the inner feeling of goodness and energy, and also my muscles are much stronger as well. People say you need animal protein to build muscle. It's not true. Anyway, that's enough on diet. Please, give it a go. Quickly on breath. Breath is, it's the only thing that's a constant in our life, our breath. We're born with it, obviously, and we die, and it's the only thing that's consistent right from that moment we're born till the day we die, that we have control of our breath. And yet so many of us, and me included all that time, don't have control of our breath. We don't breathe. More than sort of 70-80% of the population don't even breathe up to 50-60% of their full capacity, consequently lacking in energy, in mood, in all these things. And also everything about your breath affects your emotions. Your breath changes when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're really upset, when you're stressed, all these things. And also when you lose focus on the moment, your breath's all over the place. So I was really determined to learn about how to breathe, and there's 3 videos on my channel about the Wim Hof method. That was the thing that's been brilliant for me. The 4-7-8 method of breathing as well, which is in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, focusing on the breath. And also just breathing deeply and becoming aware of the breath. Pranayama, yoga, that helped me as well. And obviously meditation, focusing on the breath in meditation. And as I went walking, because I walk every day, and I was, even in early recovery, I was out, and I'll talk about exercise in my next video. I was out walking, consistently. I was using that to practice my breathing. I would practice my breathing every day at home as well, meditation in the Wim Hof method, but also becoming more aware of it as I was walking. And what I found was that I was becoming more mindful. I was becoming able more to control my emotions. If stress and anxiety came along, I was able to control that with my breath. And if I had, in the early stages, if I had cravings, and if I had upset and anxiety and all these things, or someone had upset me, or anger, or I started to be able to control them with my breathing. And as I've gone on in the 20 months and got more and more adept at this, because it's an ongoing process, I'm by no means any expert at this, but I'm 100% better than I was. It's elevated my mood and energy, but the best thing of all is I'm able to stamp on any negative emotions and remain, most of the time, although life gets on top of all of us, obviously I'm not stupid enough to, or naive enough to think, and a lot of you have much more stressful lives than I have, I know that. And it's not easy, but it will help you 100% to start to gain control of your breathing. So give that a go and start practicing every day, even if it's just for 20 minutes a day. Become aware of it, and when you're walking, and when you're got alone time and that, just breathe and count your breath. In 1, out 2, in 1, slowly. It becomes making you aware of that. And then, as I say, when your breathing changes, when your emotions change, you can grab control of that and grab control of those emotions as much as you can. It helps a lot. So that's it for today. That's diet and exercise very quickly. I mean, there's a lot in my other videos, but please subscribe and like these videos if they're useful for you, because it helps more people see them, if they're useful. And there is a lot more detail about stuff, in early recovery on the earlier videos. There's 110 videos. So, and the next video I make will be a short one on my exercise regime. Just want to share that with you because, it's obviously I'm a 58-year-old man now. So, and what I can accomplish now is better than I could do in my 20s. So, there's something working somewhere. So I just want to share it with you. So maybe some of you can pick up some tips. Anyway, don't forget, never give up. Healing, you can heal from addiction, and every day gets better and better and better. So Carpe Diem, seize the day today, make the change today, change your life today. Much love to all of you. Speak to you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.